Have you ever wondered what happens when a gentle soul becomes a vessel for something ancient and terrifying? Tonight, we travel back to the late 1890s, to a remote shrine nestled deep in the forests of Hiroshima, Japan. This is the story of Aoi, a young shrine maiden whose devotion was twisted into a horrifying prophecy of doom. The Kōjin shrine was a place of reverence, dedicated to the fierce deity of fire and protection. 16-year-old Aoi had served there since she was a child. She was known for her quiet, gentle nature, but that all changed one moonless night. Close to midnight, the head monk, Master Shunpei, was startled by the sound of bells ringing from the empty shrine hall. He hurried inside to investigate and found Aoi standing before the offering altar, her back to him. He called out her name, but the girl didn't answer. Suddenly, her body jerked violently, her arms twisted backward at an impossible angle, pulled by some unseen force. Her head snapped around, her neck bending in a way that should have broken it. And then, a voice, deep and guttural, erupted from her mouth, a voice that was not her own. "Aigakuru," it rasped. "Fire is coming." In that instant, Aoi collapsed to the floor, unconscious. The next morning, Aoi awoke, but she wasn't herself. She began speaking in an ancient Japanese dialect, one so old that only scholars could understand it. Through this strange new voice, she delivered 3 chilling prophecies. "The mountain will shake," she declared. "A great fire will swallow the merchant district, and the river will take a child." The villagers were terrified, but they tried to dismiss it as the ravings of a sick girl. They couldn't ignore it for long. Within 2 months, every prophecy came true. A tremor shook the nearby village, causing minor damage but widespread panic. A devastating fire broke out in the merchant district, destroying 20 shops overnight, and a local fisherman's young son drowned in the river, pulled under by an invisible current on a perfectly calm day. Whispers turned to shouts. "A spirit of calamity has taken the maiden," they cried. Aoi's condition worsened. Her skin became as pale as ash and she refused all food, wasting away before their eyes. She spoke only in hushed tones, using a dialect dead for centuries. One day, a concerned villager approached her, hoping to offer comfort. She grabbed his arm with a grip of iron, her eyes burning with an otherworldly light. "Your wife will weep for you," she hissed. 3 nights from now, just as she predicted, the man died of a sudden, inexplicable fever exactly 3 nights later. The people had seen enough. They pleaded with the monks, their voices trembling with fear. "Free her," they begged, "before she becomes the voice of death for us all." A grand exorcism was the only hope. 7 of the most experienced monks from neighboring shrines gathered at Kōjin. They formed a sacred circle around Aoi, who knelt silently in the center of the shrine hall. They placed holy seals, inscribed with powerful sutras, on her arms and forehead. For a breathtaking moment, there was complete silence. She seemed calm. Then, one by one, the candles around the room were extinguished by an unseen breath. The seals on her body tore themselves off and burst into flame. Aoi's body lifted off the floor, levitating in midair. The sound of her bones cracking and popping echoed through the hall as her spine arched backward into an unnatural curve, and the spirit inside her screamed, a sound that wasn't human. "I will not leave. Bring me offerings, salt, blood, and flame." The shriek was so piercing that birds for miles around took flight from the trees in a panicked cloud. The battle for Aoi's soul had begun. The 7 monks stood firm against the one terrifying spirit. Master Shunpei began reciting purification prayers. Another monk rang a ritual bell, its pure tone meant to drive out evil. 2 monks rushed forward to hold down her thrashing body, but were thrown back as if by a physical blow. The others chanted, their hands forming intricate sacred gestures to weave a spiritual net. Aoi's mouth twisted into a horrifying snarl. Her voice split, becoming 2 distinct voices speaking at once, then 3. Then a cacophony of countless voices filled the shrine, overlapping and screaming, "I am the fire that walks." One of the younger monks collapsed, his eyes rolling back in his head. Another clutched his chest, coughing up blood. Through it all, the entity possessing Aoi laughed, a chilling multi-layered sound. "Only one thing binds me," it taunted. "A promise broken long ago. ... But no one present understood its riddle, with his fellow monks falling around him. Master Shunpei knew he had one last chance. He raised the great purification staff, a sacred relic of immense power, and slammed it into the wooden floor. A visible wave of force rippled outward, shaking the very walls of the shrine. Aoi let out a final, agonizing shriek as a dark, smoky form was violently torn from her chest. The entity, a screaming mass of shadow and flame, slammed against the shrine ceiling. It twisted and fractured like shattering glass, its 1,000 voices wailing in fury and pain. And then, as quickly as it appeared, it vanished into thin air. Silence. Aoi fell limp into Master Shunpei's arms, finally free. She survived the ordeal, but she was never the same. She left the shrine and never returned. Most tragically, she lost her voice. From that day until the day she died, Aoi never spoke another word. Years later, while cleaning out an old storage room, monks made a startling discovery. They found a broken wooden idol of the fire god Kōjin, cracked right down the middle. Around the break were faint rope marks, as if something had once been bound to it, and then released. To this day, locals in the area claim that on the anniversary of the exorcism, a strange, warm gust of air blows through the Kōjin shrine, even on the coldest winter night, and if you listen closely, you might just hear faint whispers carried on the wind. Haigakure fire is coming. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey into Japan's supernatural past. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another tale from the shadows.